morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always, told out of Voice of Radio. So today we've got a big update, and I mean a big update, about Cyber Judge and Wild Force, or as it's going to be in English, Temporal Forces. And oh my word, there is a lot to talk about. We have got ourselves, if I'm counting this correctly, 4 new Pokemon EX, including 2 Tera Pokemon EX, and 2 new ACE SPECs. So 2 new regular EXs, 2 new Tera EXs, and 2 new ACE SPECs, and we kind of need to try and get through all of them in this video. It's going to be a bit of a rush. Let's get rolling with everybody's favourite, Gengar EX. I have done the translations myself for these, and then checked with the lovely Antoine Boulet, who has been on it this morning. So starting off, it's a Stage 2 EX, which means it's always going to be a bit more awkward. We're going to have to try that little bit harder to actually get this one good and working. And 310 HP is not terribly impressive, and it doesn't have free retreat like Gengar has had in the past. But it does have a really nice ability. Whenever your opponent attacks an energy from their hand to one of their Pokemon, put 2 damage counters on that Pokemon. And as a side note, remember, when these abilities don't stack, it specifically says on the card. You can see that it doesn't say on the card, even if you don't speak Japanese. So, yeah. If you get multiple out, this will stack, and you'll be taking 4, 6, 8 damage counters when you attach an energy. Decent, not good enough to play the card on its own. We then got 2 energy, 160, and you may move 1 energy from your opponent's active to one of their bench. It's fine. And if you're hitting for weakness, it'll KO almost anything. But if you're not hitting for weakness, you're only doing 160, you're only moving 1 energy. I like the ability, and I think the attack is fine, but there's nothing in this card that makes me look at it and go, yes, I want to play this. It looks okay, but it's a Stage 2, and it looks okay. I don't know. Maybe this is just me. I'm giving this thing 3 and 4 Wassies when I give half Wassies. That would be barbaric. This is not a card that impresses me hugely, honestly. Also, the art is amazing, and we all knew we were getting a Gengar EX. That was inevitable. The other EX makes me extremely happy. It's Incineroar. And look, I've been here before. I was extremely excited about Incineroar GX. Like, over the top excited about Incineroar GX. I made Incineroar GX, and there were a bunch of tournaments I was casting in the early days of casting, where the only deck I would take to tournaments was Incineroar GX, and I would just play it against people all day long. I had so much fun with this. I want to make this deck. Now again, it's a Stage 2, which is a real pain because it's not ideal. I also love the artwork, and I know it's just computer generated. I just love it, alright? I love it. It makes me happy. I love Incineroar. Now the ability is really nice. Essentially, it reduces the attack cost by 1 for each of your opponent's bench. 1 colourless, incidentally. That fire is always there. So if your opponent's got 4 bench Pokemon, you're attacking for a single energy. And I know your opponent is going to try and keep their bench low when you're playing this, and that's absolutely fine. But remember, you've got Magma Basin here. So unless your opponent's got fewer than 3 bench Pokemon, this is a very easy attack to use. I like how easy it's going to be to use this attack. The attack is 240 plus burn. But a lot of the time, this is going to be for a single energy, or a single energy Magma Basin, maybe. This is going to be really, really good. But it's a Stage 2. Like 240, you'll get your basic EXs. When you build in the burn, you're going to be getting, obviously Pokemon V as well, you're going to be getting a lot of Stage 1 EXs. You're almost there with V-Star, you'll just need like 10, 20 more damage. And you've got 320 HP, which is not the highest we've seen, but it's not terrible. It's better than Gengar. And basically what we've got here is a Pokemon that for 1 or 2 energy is going to be doing a lot of damage and burn. Yeah, I like this. I like this more than I like Gengar, because I think the damage ramps up more easily. I am also horrendously biased when it comes to Incineroar, I admit that, but I'm still giving it 4 Wassies. I like this one. Now, if you like Pokemon, but you don't like them sticking to their original typings, may I introduce you to Tera Wugtrio EX. Yeah, that's right. Wugtrio has become a lightning Pokemon, but it still uses water energy. As a side note, that does mean in, say, a Baxcalibur deck, this does give you another typing to use very easily. And Baxcalibur can accelerate to any Pokemon regardless of their type, so it's not going to worry you that you're a lightning Pokemon here. This is rather nice. Okay, but what does it actually do? Well, we got a first attack here which is really good. Discard up to 3 energy from your hand, choose one of your opponent's Pokemon, and you deal 60 damage to that Pokemon for each energy card that you discarded in this way. Cool. Means you can't use a double energy to do double. That's fine. That makes perfect sense. And to be fair, we've got Chen Pao if we're playing water decks to find that water energy pretty easily. And we got superior energy retrieval to get that energy back pretty easily. So honestly, getting free energy in your hand is not going to be difficult here. And you are hitting potentially 180 to the bench. Yes, I know Manaphy's not rotating out and that's slightly annoying, but 180 to the bench is really good. And that's why I like this card. I don't think it's broken. I do think it's a little bit awkward being a stage 1 and then having to there's only a single energy to be fair, so I talked about accelerating energy, that's only for the second attack. First attack is a single energy. Getting the energy is not difficult with Chen Pao, and hitting 180 anywhere is honestly pretty good. The second attack is 2 energy, 120, and it stops retreating. That is not good, I'm afraid. Don't worry about that one, but it's okay, alright? The first attack is very interesting. I'm giving it another 4 Wassies. I'm in a good mood this morning. This one seems like fun. But how about Feraligatr? I like Feraligatr. Feraligatr comes in 260 HP on a stage 1. It has become a darkness type Pokemon. And we've got an ability here that prevents all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from your opponent's basic Pokemon EX. Has to be basic, has to be EX. Although non-EXs a lot of the time will take a bit longer to actually get up to that amount of damage, which is very, very relevant. And actually, yeah, this is really, really cool. And it doesn't stop Vs or V-Stars or V-Maxes or regulars. It's not going to be just play this and you've got immunity against everything, all right? It's not. But you know what? Path to the Peak's rotating out. So what would be the easiest answer to an ability like this is not going to be there when this comes out. Because that was in Chilling Rain. That's Regulation Marquee. He gone! And you know what? Yeah. There's a lot to like about this. Not on its own, alright? Because, you know, nowadays Charizard's everywhere. And this is not going to block Charizard because that's a stage 2, alright? And maybe the format we're in at the moment, very strong argument, is not the best format for it. But at some point, we are probably going to be in a basic EX heavy format. We always end up in a basic heavy format at some point. And when we end up there, this thing's gonna eat. Nice. Now the attack here is okay. 1 Psychic, 2 Colorless Energy, 160 to the active, 30 to one of your opponent's bench. And it's a classic kind of attack we see on Pokemon like this. You are blocking, and because you're blocking, you don't need to do a huge amount of damage. Hopefully you're buying a couple of turns. This will be alright. I will say that the Girafarig's attack is actually really nice here. 1 Psychic, 1 Colorless, 20 damage, plus 10 for each damage counter already on your opponent's active Pokemon. So if they're like half KO'd or very, very close, you can actually come in here with this nice single prize Pokemon and just finish them off. And actually, I really like this. I like the idea of having a basic Pokemon with a really nice attack. Let's go ahead and give this one 4 Wassies. However, that is on the assumption that at some point we will get a metagame where this is really going to work. I am aware that that metagame is not here yet. But I did promise you a couple of new ACE specs as well, so let's take a look at them. And I'll tell you what, I've been telling you all the way along that Prime Catcher is unbeatable. Oh, they're giving us some broken ACE specs. Drum of Awakening. What we've got here is an ancient ACE spec. Draw a card for each of your ancient Pokemon in play. Yeah, if you've got a full bench of ancient Pokemon, this is a straight draw 6 on an item card. An item card, draw 6. That is absurd. That is ridiculous. Bearing in mind, they will not give us a supporter that is a straight draw 4. There's always a downside. Now they're giving us an item that is, and it's draw 4 each, not draw up to. So it's not like Genesect, where if you got a full field of Fusion Strike, you draw up to 6. This is draw 6 in addition to what is already in your hand. This is absurd. And look, Prime Catcher being straight gusting is still going to be the de facto play, right? It's still going to be the one that everybody defaults to. No argument there. But I'm going to be honest with you, I am loving the idea of making an ancient deck with stuff like Raging Bolt. And if you want some early game acceleration, if you want some early game power, this is it. This is phenomenal. This is a ridiculous card. I absolutely adore this. Although, just to be clear, right, I'm not saying we're going to play it over Prime Catcher. It's still going to be Prime Catcher as a default. I've already said that. And also, I don't think every ancient deck is going to play this. But if you want a speed-focused ancient deck, if you want to get going quickly, this is it. I'm giving this 5 Wassies. And I'm not giving it 5 Wassies because I think everybody is going to play it. And I'm not giving it 5 Wassies because I think it's better than Prime Catcher, which honestly 5 Wassies isn't enough. And even though I literally made up the scoring system, I don't feel comfortable changing it. But I'm telling you right now, there are going to be some speed ancient decks that are going to love this. And a lot of them are going to be made by me. Oh yeah, but there's a future ACE SPEC as well, incidentally, which is also looking absolutely brilliant. Because what we've got here is an item card. For each of your future Pokemon in play, choose one basic energy from your discard pile and attach it to that Pokemon. To put it simply, each of your future get one. And basically, it's once essentially per game. You can recover item cards, but they're a little bit awkward. And being able to recover it at the right time, it's going to be a pain, all right? But I'm telling you this right now, this gets you essentially 6 extra energy on the field. If you want to get super duper fancy here, what you can do is start playing around with this, an energy switch, and just going a little bit over the top nuts. And I think there is so much potential. Like, every future deck is looking at this and going, yeah, that looks pretty gosh darn cool. Like, I have already been super duper clear about the fact that I am a big fan of the upcoming Iron Thorns. Not the EX, just the regular Iron Thorns. I think it looks brilliant. And that's the one whereby, for 2 energy, you reveal the top 5 cards of your deck, do 70 for each future card, and then the future cards get trashed and the rest go into your deck. Well, okay, fine, if you haven't played this yet and you hit it with that attack, it's getting trashed and that's horrendous. But also you can use that to make this a pseudo single energy attack, and I again think this is just a flat out 5 Wossie card. Again, there are going to be plenty of decks that are going for Prime Catcher over this. That is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is there are going to be some future decks where getting up to 6 energy on the field in one turn with an item card is going to unlock potential in that deck, and that is going to be the choice. Yeah. I'll be honest with you, the regular EX is here, slightly disappointing, although I'll be honest with you, I love that Incineroar. I will be playing around with that on PTCG Live. Probably just PTCG Live, I'll be honest, but I'm going to be building it. The Teras are very interesting, but the ACE specs are awesome, and look, I started this video promising you 2 new EXs, 2 new Tera EXs, and 2 new ACE specs, and I have delivered. So now it's over to you guys. Tell me what you think about these cards. Tell me how excited you are. Tell me anything you want to tell me in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWassie. That's where we talk about Pokemon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, join a Discord, and all kinds of fun things. And get shoutouts on the channel, like the lovely Andy White, who's been a supporter of ours for a long time now and is a very lovely person. So shout out to them for the support and the loveliness. But by far the most important thing is always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.